Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome back if you're returning. Welcome if you're new here. Going to mix it up a little bit. We are going to use the wisdom of the oracle today to get our topic. I've been using the Sacred Destiny, almost had it. Sacred Destiny by Denise Lynn. I'm enjoying that, but I thought we'd do something different today. We have building blocks, and that goes along nicely with what we've been talking about earlier this week. Building blocks. We talked about potential and how when we are trying to realize our potential by doing new things, by, you know, creating a new life for ourselves, that we can get discouraged because there's that space in between where we're becoming. We're not who we were. We're not who we're going to be. We're kind of somewhere in the middle. We see the potential. We know we can do it, but it takes time. And those are the building blocks. And as much as I've wanted in the past to really rush the process, speed it up, make it happen faster, if I take double the class load, well, then I'm going to be exhausted. I would be completely unrealistic just trying to hurry up and get out of that in between space because I didn't like it there. Wasn't good at it. And I shared that I was put there with no ability to change the situation for the last year. And apparently that was a building block that I needed to take forward because now I'm much better at that liminal space and about staying in a state of gratitude. And that's generally anything that we're doing that is of value takes time. And when we're in that space and it's uncomfortable, a lot of times we can want to give up because it's just taking too long and it's uncomfortable and I don't want to feel like that anymore. But we're building the foundation. We have to build the foundation, and creating new habits takes time because even the discipline to continue on the journey is a habit we have to develop as a building block to who we're becoming. If we don't build the discipline, most likely we're not going to make it to where we want to be, or if we do, we won't be able to maintain it because we don't have the discipline to do the things that are required of us to maintain this thing that we built, that we said we wanted, but now we're tired and doesn't seem like as much fun. Or, you know, it goes back to, we had the analogy of the cookie and the carrot. How bad do you want it? And there are character traits that we need as building blocks to be able to create, become, and sustain what we desire. So, in that space in between where you're growing and you're learning and it's messy, because with a new habit, whatever it may be, let's say, we'll find an example. Um, Eating healthy. Okay. So, it is really easy when you're in the process of changing that habit to fall back on old behaviors. So, that discipline is what's going to carry you through in those moments where you don't feel like doing what's required to maintain your habit of healthy eating. And I mean, personally, I get it completely. That's something that I'm very selective about my diet. And part of that is just what I've recently been through and understanding how valuable your health is. Because without that, you don't have options. I mean, there's so much that's closed off to you. that you're not able to do. And so my personal value of my health has become much higher than what it was before, when I could just kind of bulldoze my way through something even though I was sick, which is not good for your body. But, I had the mental fortitude that I could do that. I'm stubborn as hell if I want to be. I got the discipline part down. It was the self-love part that I kind of, eh, you know, we'll get to that later. But when we are able to discipline ourselves to do the hard things, to reach the goal, such as it is so much easier to stop by a fast food drive up on your way home than it is to get home, prepare dinner, and take the time to prep it, cook it, clean up after it to feed your body well. And I got to tell you, look, this is not a paid promotion, personal, just, you know, so you've probably already seen 3,000 of their ads if you're on YouTube and you don't have a membership. Cook Unity. So they do the fresh delivered meals. I work stupid hours in the dump truck, and I am not giving up my diet. And I used to spend an hour a day prepping the Mediterranean diet so that we could eat healthy dinners. And I know me, once I'm back to work, which I am, by the time you're watching this, I am not going to spend an hour a day prepping dinner, let alone cooking and all that. No, not happening, right? Here's some frozen pizza. I'm tired. So the Cook Unity has different meal plans and stuff, but they have like the Mediterranean diet, the carnivore diet, keto. You can pick, and you can go through, and if you have food sensitivities, because like I have celiac, I can't have wheat, rye, or barley, I can X out those ingredients that I don't want anything with those ingredients in it, and they don't even offer it on my menu. Like, I'm impressed, guys. I am truly impressed. So it's whatever you can do to make it easier to stick to your habits. Those are building blocks. Because if we have what we know is going to be a challenge in maintaining something that we have said is important to us, that we've said we want to accomplish, we have to look for a solution. And if you can get out ahead of it and see that challenge coming and know, ooh, I need to find a solution to that before it happens. Because the night that you're driving home and you have had it with the day, you don't feel like cooking, and you don't have a plan, you're stopping by McDonald's. You know you are. I know you are. I probably would too. I mean, it's an old habit. It's easy. It's quick. It solves the immediate problem, which is I don't feel like cooking, but I'm hungry. But if you see the possibility that that's going to happen, like I know people who are so disciplined, like they prep their food, like they'll spend Sunday making all their dinners for the week. I am not that person. Sunday is my only day off. I spend Sunday doing a little bit around the house. That's why I have a little bitty house, because I don't want to spend all day Sunday cleaning and mowing and doing all that stuff, right? So, knowing this about myself, I have a little bitty house. And I'll do like laundry through the week and stuff, because laundry's easy. You throw that stuff in, it does whatever it does. You go back and you throw it in the dryer, it does whatever it does. You're done. Like, you don't have to stand there with it the whole time. But with the cooking part, you just kind of, it takes a minute. So now on Sunday, I will prep my lunch for the week, but I'm not doing a week's worth of dinners. So my solution, which I went ahead and, 2 weeks before I went back to work. So when I moved here, I started the service just to make sure I liked the meals. because it doesn't matter if it's already made and it's here. If I don't like it, it's not, I'm stopping at McDonald's. Um, so I ordered the Cook Unity, and it was like, oh, they are good. They are good. So that was my solution, because I knew that was going to be a problem. And the building block in my situation is like my health, especially taking on going back to work. I know it's going to take me a few to adjust. I'm going to be tired, and I'm not going to be disciplined to prep meals in advance. So I needed to find a solution before the problem arose, which would have been the Monday I went back to work, coming home going, I'm not cooking. Ain't no way I'm cooking. So, and that's what I mean about get out ahead of it, identify that this is going to be an issue, and find a way that you can continue to maintain your foundation, your building blocks to this thing that you're trying to accomplish. Find a way around the challenge, find a solution, and that will help you in that. Again, when we're not quite where we want to be, we're trying to maintain these new habits, and it's so easy to fall back on the old habits. And when you create that foundation and you find your way around the roadblocks or the things that would cause cracks in your foundation, shore them up in advance. Don't build on top of them until you figured out, like, yeah, I've got this. So, again, and I speak from experience because I have set goals and then it became inconvenient. And as soon as it became inconvenient, I fell right back to where I was. And then 6 months later, I would kick my ass over it and try again. And we can either do it that way or have a plan, because I found that's so much more effective. Know our weaknesses, know where we're going to need to have a plan, have a backup. Like I said, with me, I'm using the Cook Unity stuff. There are a whole slew of options. They have pre-made meals at the grocery store, and you just have to be careful about, like, with the frozen meals, preservatives, things like that. You know your diet, you know your goals, uh, what works for you. And I just thought I'd share that because I know that with our lives, and as busy as everyone is doing what they do, a lot of times our health takes a back seat because we don't have time for that. Well, sometimes the universe will make you take time for that. So if we can address that one up front, your health is the most important part of your foundation. And that's definitely something that if you're trying to develop new habits, ways of maintaining your health, I'd give that one a high ranking. So, uh, yeah, have a plan, know your weaknesses, know where you're going to run into obstacles, and have a plan B, plan C backup in place before it hits. Then you don't have to beat yourself up 6 months later when you dropped it and felt disappointed with yourself and gave up and walked away. And we can alleviate the the duress of creating new habits by knowing ourselves well enough to know that I'm going to stumble here. What can I do to go ahead and put something in place to catch me? I know I'm going to stumble, but to catch me so that I don't completely fall down and bust my ass, you know? So, I hope this helps. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will talk to you soon.